Hi guys, I hope you're all well. My name's Joe. I'm one of the account managers here at Pitchero. I'll be running tonight's webinar, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to give it a couple more minutes though. With the time of night that it is, there might be a couple of people who, are kind of getting in from work and just needing a little bit longer to log on. I'm just about to share my screen with you. You should hopefully be able to see that screen. It's just the dashboard that you may already be familiar with. I'm going to go back on hold just for another minute or two until people jump on. But if you can't see my screen, please do put in the questions area that you can't see that, just so I can try and rectify that before we get going. Cheers, guys. Speak again soon. Hi there, guys. I hope you're all well. My name's Joe. I'm one of the account managers here at Pitchero. I'll be running through things tonight with you for tonight's webinar, which is based around the team admin functionality, kind of what you guys can do as team admins, and like basically the different things that are available to you to make your life easier as a team admin. I'll be running through things. My idea here is to show you kind of how things work within the club control panel, which you should all be able to see here. And also to talk you through a little bit about the apps as well. So I've got the ability to show you the apps. Now, please bear with me tonight. I do normally have a trusty assistant with me, but unfortunately tonight it is just me on my own. So I'll try and get through things as best I can. A couple of little things before we get started, just to bear in mind. There is a section for questions. Please pop in your questions as we go along. As it is just myself, I will have to leave all the questions till the end. So please feel free to type them along as we go. Maybe put in that question kind of which bit it is you're referring to, so that when I come back round to it at the end, I can get the best answers across to you. Bear in mind, as I'm running through all of this, two things. This is a test website, so the data is a little bit skew-whiff sometimes, simply because they're not real people. They are all sort of test people that we've made up so that we can show you them without showing any sensitive information. And final thing to bear in mind before we get started, there will be varying levels of sort of expertise between you guys as attendees. There's quite a few of you guys on this evening, so some of you guys may be extremely familiar with all of this. This might be the first time some other people are seeing it though. So please bear in mind, just kind of be a bit mindful of the fact that if I'm running through something that you are very, very familiar with and know exactly how it works, I do apologize. But some people will be finding that very useful, and there will definitely be some stuff that you'll find useful in this. So yeah, without further ado, I will crack on. Idea today, really, as I say, to go through what you can do and your kind of the different responsibilities and covering the aspects of sort of the actions team admins can undertake to help out at the club and efficiently manage your team on a day-to-day basis. So you guys predominantly in here will be team admins. I presume there will be some other sort of roles within the attendees tonight, just kind of looking to find out more. But the idea is really that, just to talk you through the various different sections of the system and show you how you can benefit from the use of the system and benefit from the Pitchero Club Control Panel, which is where we are now on the desktop, while also utilizing all of the great features that are available in the Pitchero apps. So I do have another screen here. As I scroll up, you'll see another screen here where I'll be able to show you kind of how things look in the app as well. Bear with me, like I said, I did one earlier today, and it was my colleague James who ran through that stuff. So I'll try and make this as smooth as possible for you. Again, final point to mention, the idea here is just to focus on making your life as a team admin a lot easier and a lot more efficient in terms of managing your team. So it's allowing you really to spend more time concentrating on the on-field duties that you guys have, the coaching and, you know, the kind of mentoring of your players and getting the best out of them. You want to spend your time doing that because that's presumably why you signed up to do what you do at the club, rather than spending too much time doing admin. So what I'm going to show you here is how all of the different tools that we have can basically make things a lot easier for you. So the first thing that I want to talk about really is the managing of your members. Now, for each of the couple little sections that I'm going to go through, I'm going to show you how you can do certain things within the club control panel, and then I'll jump into the app and show you how you can do similar or but slightly different things within the app as well. So the first thing here, like I say, the first thing I want to talk about is managing your members. The Pitchero system itself is set up to allow your club webmasters to collect for information on your members. That's not something as a team admin that you would really do. However, when the webmasters created the fields for your members to populate with their information, you are able to then go in and view this information on the members that are specific to your team. So you guys will be pretty familiar with this, I imagine. What I'm going to have to quickly do just before I get started, actually, guys, I'm going to have to quickly log in as the team admin that we created. So I will quickly do that now. Apologies, I should have done this ahead of time. So now that I'm going to log in here, I will be taken back to the same page. I was logged in with my super admin access there, so it would have looked a little bit different. This is what you guys will be familiar with seeing. In here, basically what you will be doing is heading into your membership section, heading into the membership and then into the membership database. This is where you can view all of that information on your members. Now you'll see that pop up at the top there. You can only see members associated with the under-17s. That's typically because we are just using the under-17s as an example in this webinar. I have listed myself here as only a team admin of only the under-17s. The really good thing about this is that kind of from a perspective above you guys as club webmasters and stuff, you're only seeing the information that you should be seeing, and you're not seeing any information on players that really you shouldn't be seeing on for any younger junior teams or any senior teams or anything like that. So you're presented with this information here. The key thing, like I've mentioned just there, is that your team, your club webmasters, I should say, will have collected information on your members if they're using the registration fields. So they've created fields quite like your old school paper registration form that your members will then go in and fill in. And you will basically be able to click into a member, as I have this done here with Denise, and you'll be able to see the information that person has filled in. For example, their address, their doctor's information, their medical conditions, emergency contact name and details and things like that. This is information that's all pretty important for you to see on your members as a team admin. Obviously, you want to make sure that you've got all of the necessary stuff that you need to make sure that that's kind of, you've got that step ahead in case you need that information, especially things like emergency contact details. With you guys being team admins of teams, like especially with younger players and whatnot, should, God forbid, anything go wrong, you've got those details on hand. Now, this is where you can view them in the club control panel. I'm obviously going to show you very shortly how you can do that in the app. But just a quick thing that you can do within these sections, so you can view that information, but you can also edit it. So if you know that they've made a spelling mistake or some of it's wrong and you need to change that information, that can all be done. You can also, if I click into somebody here, now this person is not registered. They are just a player, so they don't have their own account. They haven't gone in and registered this email address. If I find a member that is registered, for example, James here is actually a member of our staff, James Club app. Into James is here. If I click into his information, now I can see here medical conditions 1, doctor's information W, emergency contact name W. That's not the correct information. I've looked at that and I've thought James has just gone in there and put any old information in there. That's not what I need. That's not going to help me. But because James is a registered member, I can use this button up here, which is really useful, which is the prompt to update information. So if I click that prompt to update information button, I can click onto that, and then I can essentially write out a message to send to James to ask him to get the information in the right place. So it pre-populates it with, please make sure all of your information is up to date, but I can freeform text any information I want in there and it'll show in the message. So I can pop anything I want in there. I'm not going to put anything in for the sake of this, but a little bit more of a politer message, or asking them specifically what it is you want them to update. You can pop that information in there, click the send button, and as you'll see at the bottom here, one prompt was sent. Now, if I head quickly to my other screen here, because I'm logged in on the app, now this is something that I'm going to touch on, but you'll see here on this other screen, I'm logged in as James on the club app. So James has now just been sent that message. Now, as soon as I press into that, it's one way of communicating with James to ask him to go and populate his information. There you go there. He's been sent the message there. Hi, James, please can you make sure all your information is up to date? If he clicks that view information button, that will then take him through to the necessary section for him to then go in and change all of that information. So there you see all the stuff that's in there. James can then pop in, delete that, and put anything else in there that he needs to. I'll close that down for now as I'm still on this section. So that's one way of prompting your members to update their information. Another way of kind of doing that, if you wanted to do it by bulk, would be to select multiple people using these drop downs, or select everybody in that team using these tick boxes on the left-hand side, and use this prompt to update information bit here. Does the same thing, but you can send it to people by bulk, essentially. So if you've noticed, oh, it's the start of the season and you need to get them more up-to-date information, you've noticed that there's any missing information by bulk, select everybody and send that prompt out to everybody. If a person is unregistered but does have a registered parent member, that message will go to the parent. So you don't need to worry about, you're looking at the kid and you're thinking that kid's information is missing. And I know it's not the kid themselves that's going to fill them in. As long as their parents signed up and connected to them on Pitchero, you will be able to send that message and it'll go to the parent. Okay, so final thing before I move on to show you how to do these things within the app is I'll quickly just show you how to add a member. Now, you've probably seen this button the whole time I've been talking. Top right-hand corner here, add a member. Click that button. I can choose to add members sort of, whether it's a player, whether it's a parent of a player in my team, whether it's a coach. But obviously, as you can well imagine, I can only add members that are a member of the under-17s team because that's who I am a team admin of. So if I choose to make somebody a player of the under-17s, click next. I'll then be asked to populate their information here. If I put in here just a test person, put test member, give in all the information that you want. If you want to give them an email address so that they can register for the site, you can do. If you want to populate this information for them, likewise, you can do. Make sure you've got the relevant consent to be adding them to the database, and then just click the add a member button. It's really as easy as that. As you'll see here, required fields are missing because they haven't been in and filled in their membership information, but that member is now added into the system and is now able to be used in sort of team selections and things like that, which is something that I'm going to move on to. As well, you're able to remove a member from your team. You would click into the roles here, and you would just remove that and save it again, and that would remove that person from your team. You're not able to delete them from the database because you don't have access to do that, but you are able to remove them from your team. So say, for example, you've logged on after the off season. The guys of you who are in the attendees tonight, the cricket season's around the corner. You'll be readying your site for the cricket season. You might need to get rid of some deadwood, some old players that don't play for you anymore. Go in, remove their role, just as simply as unticking that box and clicking save. I'm going to quickly jump on to show you how that's done on the app. So the app here, this is the Pitchero Manager app. You may or may not be familiar with this. If you're not, get to be, because it is a really, really useful tool. The idea of the Pitchero Manager app, as I'm going to show you as we're moving along through things this evening, anything that you need to do, sort of pitch side actions can all be done just with your phone in your pocket. You download this. This is the iOS version, but you can download the Android version if you're using an Android phone. And basically that will allow you, like I say, to do really quick, nice, powerful actions just from your pocket. So your pitch side and somebody gets injured, you're able to view their information. Now I'll show you how to do that. As you'll see here, one of the options at the bottom here is members. If I click into members, I'm showing the teams that I'm able to see the members of. Now that's obviously only the under-17s team, as we've discussed. So I'll click into that team there. Once I click into that team, I'm presented with a list of players here, as you can see, and these are all the players that are part of that team. So you'll see here that test member person that I just selected. There they are. You can click into each of the members. What I'll do is I'll click into someone who's got some information filled in. So Rossi here, for example. You click into that person's name and you get a bit of an overview of what they are at the club, who they are at the club, I should say. What team are they in? Are they a coach of any teams? Do they have any family members? So if their parents are there and associated with them. Are they available for any fixtures? That's something I'm going to show you shortly as well. And are they part of any groups? Again, that is something that I will touch on slightly as we move forward. You can use this other option here, which is the details button. You click into the details. This is the key thing that you'll want to be seeing, really. Clicking into details will allow you to see all of the information that they've filled in against those fields. So as you'll see, the address, the membership information with the doctor's information, emergency contact details there. The good thing about the emergency contact details, I've just tapped on that there. Now, it didn't extend the full message on the video that I'm recording, but I tap on that message and basically says emergency contact number copied. I've now copied that to my clipboard and I can call that number from my phone if I need to. Really useful, as I mentioned, you know, God forbid little Rossi gets injured in one of the games and their parents aren't there available at the time. You will need to call them and let them know that he's on his way to hospital or whatever it might be. You can get that information from the power of your phone that's just plugged in, that's just in your pocket there. You don't need to come onto the desktop to get that information. It's all available to you. So that's viewing the information. You can also edit that information if you need to by clicking the edit section up there. You can edit whether they've got a parent member attached to them or whether they are a parent and you need to add a child. You can edit their roles, as I showed you, you can do on the desktop. You can edit the groups that they're a part of, so you can create different groups. Now, they really should be a part of the under-17s group there, and let's say they're not part of the first team group, for example. You can chop and change all of them and remove them. That's not a problem. And the player profile information, so the stuff that they have filled in against their name, you can edit that as well and save it just like that. They'll both be reflected within the app and then within the club control panel. So, you know, really powerful tool to have in your pocket. Again, adding members can be done through the app as well. As you can see, the little add players button at the bottom there, click that. You can import people from your contacts, so you can create a new member. If I click create a new member, it's just very, very similar as it is to within the club control panel, just looks a little bit different and can be done a little bit quicker as well, because obviously it's in your pocket, you've got that information ready to go. Message team, again, one of the sections that I was going to cover was communicating with your team, but I'm going to kind of cover it as I run through other things. But message team, you can use that button, select that, and you can send out sort of an announcement to these guys. The manager app is great for announcing things to players. The club app, which is something I'm going to move on to shortly, really, really useful for kind of like WhatsApp type messages or like Facebook group messages, that sort of thing. You can send images, you can have admins of chats and things like that. We'll move on to that shortly. But that's essentially it for managing your members. So key things from that, you know, you can go in and you can view all of their information, both in the club control panel and in the app. You can go and you can add and remove members, both in the club control panel and in the app. And you can send messages or announcements, we like to call them, from the app as well. Really, really useful tools. The next thing that I want to move on to is managing your team. So that was managing your members. Now, I know that you might think they're kind of the same because, you know, the team is the members that are within it. But what I want to talk about here is more so managing how you, one, the back end of your team. So in terms of your fixtures, your results, all of that sort of stuff, your training sessions, but also then the front end of your team. So how they look to potential members, people who are visiting the front end of the website, and how you kind of present yourselves as a team. The first things that I'll move on to, because they're kind of not related to the app. So these are two things here that I'm about to chat about that you currently can't do in the app, but there are plans to include this, and that is kind of adding content for your team. So for example, I'm going to click into the site content section here. Because I'm a team admin of the under-17s team, I can write news articles that are particular just to the under-17s team. So I'll go into site content and then into news, and as you can see here, the nice green button, add an article. If I click that, I can populate an article, title, tagline, main bulk of text. I can change the image here, I can choose when it's published, but the only section I can publish that in is the under-17s news. Now, jumping to the front end of the website here, I'll jump in. Now, I'm going to show you this section as well, but you know, kind of news items that you've created will show here. So as you'll see, these are ones that we've added, you know, so you have the access to do this. What a start to the season for the under-17s. Putting in things like that, you know, you could have kind of more, you can like typically use the match reports thing for stuff like that, but it's a similar sort of thing. It's a bit of a write-up, a bit of an article that's particular just to the 17s, not to the rest of the team. Rest of the club, I should say, sorry. This section here as well is kind of your main landing page for the team. So a new player, new prospective member is looking for clubs in their area. They've Googled cricket clubs in my area. You know, they've found Pitchero Cricket Club on here, or whatever club it is that you guys are actually a part of. They've found them and they've clicked into the under-17s team because that's who they want to play for. Great, look at this. They compete in the Pitchero Junior Division. They've been part of it. You know, there's all of that information there that they need to know that this is a really good team. This is a really good team that they can get involved in. And look at that. To come along to training, please contact Pitchero headquarters and then a contact number there. You can add all of that information in for your team. Now, that's taking a little bit of a burden off the webmasters who run the majority of the site. You can come in and you can do this sort of stuff for just your team, making it really easy to kind of populate your specific team's page with content that is really good and relevant and helpful for your members, or prospective members, I should say. To do that, we'll go into teams. Now, this is where we're going to manage some of the other stuff as well. So this is a key section for you. You'll be presented with the other teams that are on the club, but you can't access them. So you'll just be clicking into the team that you are a admin for. So I've clicked into the under 17s there. You're taking to your fixtures, which I'll show you shortly, but the first thing I want to talk about is the home page. So you get a few options across the top. Have an explore of these options because there's loads of good stuff in here in terms of the settings for that particular team. You can attach certain social accounts to just this particular team and whatnot. But the thing I'm bothered about here is that home page, right? That content, I need to get some good content in there. So you come in here, you can populate it with a title. You could probably just call that under 17s or Pitchero Cricket Club's under 17s or the best under 17 team in the country or something like that. Page content. Fill that in with some nice page content. Who are you? What, tell us a bit about you. When do you train? What do you do? What division are you playing in, etc. New players are always welcome. That's really a nice thing to say, provided that they are always welcome, of course. And putting in the contact information, it would typically be a person that you'd put in here, but please contact Jim on 07 whatever his mobile number is. Pop him in there. Jim's always happy to chat to people and make sure that they've got the right team to come and play for. Pop his information in there. Add a team photo. Now we've just added a generic stock photo of somebody playing cricket here, but get a picture of your team. The last, when you won the cup last season or your pre-season photograph, you can pop that in there, and you can also kind of list who's actually in that photo if you want to. You can save that information, and once you save it, that will then display on the front end of the site where I've shown you. So kind of key things from those two things, guys. Populate that information in terms of content, in terms of news items, but also in terms of the homepage for your particular team. Really important to get some stuff out there because you don't want to look like a team that's not really doing much or isn't playing games or isn't, open to new players. Get that stuff on there so that you look like you've got a nice, really friendly outlook to the other guys. Especially if the other team admins at your club are doing it for their team and you haven't, it makes it look like, oh God, the under 15s and 16s look great, but the under 17s don't look like they're bothered. You want to make sure that you've got a really good, sort of positive, forward-facing site that allows your members to know what you're all about. Okay, so the next two things I'm going to mention are two things, again, that are done within this section, but also done within the app, and that is fixtures and training sessions. So I'm going to click into fixtures and results here. I'll move on to training afterwards. But fixtures, obviously very, very important for sports clubs, believe it or not. These are sort of your bread and butter. These are the things, this is the reason why you do it. Playing these games, playing in your leagues, playing those friendlies and cup games. You need to have all that information on there. Now, you can manage this and you can pop these sort of things into your players' schedules and ask them whether they're available, select them and tell them they've been selected. Kind of get all of those fixtures in there prior to the start of the season so that everybody knows what's going on and kind of what's coming up. So the first thing is, how do you add your fixtures? From this section here, I'll show you in the club control panel to add a fixture. Again, typically, like most things on Pitchero, look for the big green button that says add this or create that. Click add a fixture. You'll be presented with three options. So the three options are, we'll go from bottom to top actually, because it's a little bit easier to explain. You can upload a spreadsheet, so as it says there, upload a spreadsheet of fixtures which aren't part of a competition. It's not to say that they're not necessarily part of a competition, but what the top option shows you is that we have a competition database within Pitchero. So say you play in a competition that you're just going to manage yourself and you don't have too much kind of going on. It's just a little bit of maybe a friendly league or something like that. You can click this upload a spreadsheet button. What that does is it gives you a template to download. You populate that template with your team's fixtures and you upload them to the site. They will then display where I've just been in that list of fixtures. Really simple, really easy. This section here, add your own fixtures. If you click that button, it allows you to add one fixture at a time, or you can add multiple. As you can see here, add another fixture in X amount of days. Populate that information, choose what type of fixture it is, who's the away team, or are you the away team, home away, you can swap that over. When is it, date and time. And like I say, you can populate a few more. So if I click add, it gives me the option to add another one. So you can do it that way, or you can use the upload of a spreadsheet if you've got quite a few to do at once. When you've done that, it'll take you back to this page and it'll show you the fixtures you've just added. That's how I added these ones. These are just test fixtures. But the other thing that you can do is you can connect to a competition. Now, that was one of the things you saw there. You can also see here, manage competitions. If I click add a fixture or click manage competitions, I'll be taking it here. I can connect with a league or a cup. If your league, especially if your league and you're a cricket club and your league is on the ECB Play Cricket site, as long as it's a league competition, we can pull through that data into our system. So if you click connect here, all you've got to do really is search for that league. So let's just say, because we're in Yorkshire, I'll search for Yorkshire, and I'll be presented with loads of different leagues that have the word Yorkshire in their name. You'll find the correct one. You'll click connect. You'll then be presented with a list of the teams in that division. You'll find your team name and you'll click connect. Now, I'm not going to do that because this is a test site and these aren't actually the teams I'm looking to connect to, but you would click connect, and then that would populate all of the fixtures for your season, provided that they're in our competition database, and they would all show in this list here on the fixtures and results page. We have a direct integration with ECB Play Cricket, so that makes it really easy. All you do is you just provide your scorecard to ECB, and then we pull through the results and populate the league tables and stuff. If you're a football club or a rugby club or just a cricket club that's not part of the ECB, you can still have your competitions added. Just request a fixture template form from our support team, support@pitchero.com. They'll be able to provide you with one of those, and then they can add your competition to our competition database. So all is not lost. If you want to have your competition added, you can have it added. Just request it from us and we'll get that added in for you. Okay, so the final thing to show you before I'm going to move on to show you how you can do all of that within the app is to how do you manage the information on these fixtures? So if you click into a particular fixture, there's more to it than just who the team's playing and what time. You can choose where they're playing. So if you've added locations to your site, you'll be able to add in multiple locations, like pitch 1, pitch 2, pitch 3, etc. You can choose that on there. You can edit kind of how the match is played. So these are based on defaults for cricket, but you know, you might play a different type of cricket, or junior cricket might be different to senior cricket, and you can edit kind of how long the periods are and stuff. It's useful more for football and stuff, that 45 minutes a half for senior football, but maybe it's only half an hour a half for juniors, so you can edit that stuff there. Meet time, pop in a meet time. This is the kind of stuff that your members will see when they're setting their availability. Instructions, you know, car park 1 is out of order, please use the one at the back of the clubhouse, etc. All of that information can be edited in there. Again, I'm not going to go into too much detail on all of these things here, but you can put in a match preview, you know, a bit of a talking up the game before it happens. You can put in a match report, talking up the game after it's happened, and select your sort of player of the match and things like that. Upload photos and videos and submit your scorecard for cricket, or submit your final score for football, rugby, whatever it may be. Team selection is one thing that I'm going to talk about now, just because we're here. Kind of managing your fixtures. You obviously need to select a team to play in that game, especially if you're looking to use all the communication features through Pitchero. Selecting your team is really easy. You select kind of who is in the team, who the substitutes are. This one's already populated, but it's really as simple as just using these green buttons here. So as we'll see here, this person's available but not been selected. If I click that button there, it will then add them to the bottom of that list, as you can see here. Simple as that, really, really easy. You can prompt your players. So all these guys have been selected. If I click that send selection notifications, it'll send everybody a message to say, you know, something along the lines of congratulations, you've been selected for Saturday's game. Please see all the fixture information, etc. You can send availability prompts. If I click that button there, it will let me know that it's sent the prompts. So send the notifications there. That'll send a notification to everybody in my team saying, hey guys, there is a fixture on Saturday, can you play? They will then come back and say yes and no, as you can see listed against their names here. This person said they can, this person said they can't, this person said they're not sure, etc. And you can manage the notifications that come out, kind of how often they do for automated ones and things like that. So that's pretty much it in terms of selecting your team, managing your fixtures, and prompting your guys, communicating with them in that sense. That fixture is already published, so I don't need to use the publish button at the bottom. I'm just going to head back. I'm going to quickly show you how these sort of things can be managed within the app. Pretty easy, pretty straightforward. You'll find within the app that you can do nice, quick little actions, but you can do things in a little bit more detail within the club control panel. Up to you which way around you do it, though, of course. So if I head back into the app here, as you'll see, the first page I'm taken to is our match center. The match center populated with all our fixtures, quite like the page that's behind us here. You know, that's the key section for you guys. Match center, that's where most of the stuff is. Now I'm populated with all these things here. If I want to add a fixture, green, the little button in the top here, the little plus, click that to add a fixture. pretty much the same as it was before. Fill in this information, the away team, the date, the start time, etc. What type of fixture is it? Choose from the drop-down options and then click done, and that will create that fixture within that list. I'm not going to do that, so we're not clogging it up with too much, but it's really, really easy to do so. In the section here, I can click into the fixtures just like we did before. I can see the match information that's been provided, and I can edit that information, so the meet time, the instructions and stuff. You get base information when you create the fixture, but then if you click back into it afterwards, you can choose locations, you can do the meet time and all of that stuff. You can also remove your fixtures from here as well, and like I say, change anything that's within there. I can view people's availability for that fixture. As you can see, all of this availability is what we've, kind of what we've gathered from our players. Button at the bottom here to prompt players. If I click that, it'll ask me if I'd like to prompt the players who haven't selected their availability. Yes, I would. Send the prompts out, as easy as that. That sent a message out saying, hi guys, can you let me know if you can play? And then team selection, which has already been published. But again, I can select, is it 11 starters? Do I have a particular formation if I'm playing in a sport that uses kind of, like football and things? Again, I can prompt the players. Send a prompt to check that they can confirm that they can definitely play. They said they were available. I've selected them. Is everything still good? Click send. Prompt players, prompt sent. As easy as that. So I can go into these, and there you see I've got a bit of a gap there. Tap on the gap. Select the player. Club app James. There we go. Select that player. In he goes. As you'll see here, because I've selected him, it's showing that he has a sort of an orange marker next to him rather than a green tick. So you'll see Victor at the bottom there is said he can't play. So really, I could remove him. If you drag him to the left, you'll get the little delete button. Click on that. That will remove him from that section. These guys that are orange basically haven't confirmed whether they can definitely play or not. They said they're available, but we don't know if they can actually play at that particular time. So I can click into them and I can prompt them for that information, or I can actually change it by clicking into it and just saying he has confirmed. I can also set him as my captain for that game. And things like that. So there's a nice little bit of functionality in there, and kind of going in and editing the fixtures in that way. So yeah, that's essentially it from the app point of view as well. Manage your fixtures, get them all in there. You can only sort of add them in one by one. You can't connect to competitions within the app, but you can add in fixtures sort of ad hoc, one by one, friendlies that pop up every now and then. But the more in detail stuff is done within this admin dashboard here. Last thing on managing your team is your training sessions. You can add in your training sessions. You may or may not be aware of this, and you can use the system to act as like a register, prompt people for their availability, let them know that you're coming to the session, and then you can kind of mark off yes and no who did turn up and who didn't. Really easy to set up. Click into training, which is in the team section here, and then again look for that nice big green button, add sessions. I'm going to click that button there. Select from existing training groups. Luckily, I've already set one up for the under-17s, but essentially when you create a new group, you just give it a name. So under-17s, that's the name I would have gave it. So I'm just going to select that one. Step 2, add sessions to your group. Location, where would we like that to be? I'll put in here Leeds Cricket Centre, just because we're based in Leeds. Why not? Organizer will be myself, admin. And then which teams are attending. So you can't select other teams, but really you are the admin for the under-17s. So that's the team you're going to select. Click add a team, and you'll see that drop down here. Now, when is the training session? Is it tonight, or is it kind of a little bit further in advance? Click this drop down here. It actually starts, say, Friday night, 7 till 8. Sorry. Will that repeat? Yes, it will repeat every week, and it'll be for 10 weeks. For example, but you can change these. It can end on a certain date, or it can repeat every 2 weeks, every month, every day. Put a description in, kind of where do you need to park, who do you need to look for when you get there, etc. Click done, and that essentially saves those things here. So as you'll see, we've already got some added in that are in Headingley, some that are in Leeds, some that are in Pitchero headquarters. But there's the Leeds Cricket Centre one that I've just added. Now, if I click into that, I can check the availability for people. So one person set themselves as available. As you'll see here, one person set themselves as available. Nobody else has set theirs yet, but I can view the availability tool and manage that from there. What that has done is it's dropped into everybody's schedule, and they will then visit their schedule within the club app, and they will be able to set their availability for these things. But when people are actually turning up, I can mark them as attended or not. So let's just say that those are the people that have attended. If you click into a particular one, you can say why they didn't attend. So they were excused from attending. Something like Victor was unwell this week, something along those lines. Save that, it'll let you know why that person didn't attend, and you can use that as a bit of a register. So that's really useful. That can all be done in the app, of course, as most things can. Click back into the app, into the manager app. Next to the match center at the bottom there, you've got the training section. Click into training, and you've got all the different things that are up and coming. So there's the one that I created there. I can click into that particular one and view all of that information in there and use these here so I can see that he's been excused. I can say that these people did attend, etc. So it's as easy as that to manage within the app as well. You can view all the sessions, and of course, using the plus button in the top right hand corner, you can create your sessions within here as well. I'm not going to go through the process of doing that. I've showed you how to do that in the club control panel, pretty much the same within the app. Just kind of give that group a name, use an existing group, etc. So yeah, that's pretty much it in terms of managing your teams. The third point that I'm going to move on to, which is sort of the final point, I have this point to make, and then I have one more thing to show you guys, which is really good and exciting. But the third point I was going to go on was kind of communicating with your team. But, you know, because obviously a big chunk of your time each week, I presume, is spent chasing these players and trying to get that team out on the pitch. Basically, I've kind of shown you how you can prompt your players to see, there you go, there's an app that invite that's come through, or somebody asking for availability there. You know, that was because James had been selected. James can click into that and manage that within his app. So this is the club app I've jumped into now. Yes, you know, you can say that I'm playing, not playing, etc. But yeah, so, you know, kind of a lot of the time is spent chasing these players, prompting them. Are you free? Are you free? Yes, you're free. Cool, I've picked you. Right, you're playing in the game. You know, please update your information. Please update your information. Sending those prompts out. I've showed you how to do all of that stuff. Pretty straightforward, pretty easy. But the one thing that I'm going to show you now, and it's good that I've jumped into the club app there. This is the schedule that your guys see within the club app. You may be familiar with this. This is their particular schedule. This is their particular homepage, etc. But one thing I want to touch on in the club app is the messaging tool. So you guys are team admins, so you should have the manager app downloaded. I get that. But you should also have the club app downloaded, because this is a really powerful messaging tool. Now I'm going to show you how. So the middle option here, so you've got here your homepage, your schedule, messages, shop here. This is where the guys can kind of buy their membership and stuff, and then general settings. But this messages section here, really, really good and useful to use. It's a little bit like WhatsApp or Facebook Messenger, where you can create groups or you can have one-to-one messages. So as you'll see here, this one here was a chat me and James had earlier. Absolutely thrilling conversation of hello and hi. But you know, you can send messages within here again. And basically that will just send straight through as a message to, so that's coming from James this time to me. That's a one-to-one message that only we can see. You can view these within the app, or you can view these within your account on the desktop version. Easier to view within the app though, which is why I'm mentioning all of this. Or you can create group messages. So it's really cool to have this. You could have a group with your parents, or you could have a group with your players. I'm going to click new group. It's going to present me with all of the suggestions of things I should use. I might as well just use some of those suggestions. That'll do. So I've created that group. There you go. Type in a group name. I'll just put in test group. So I've created that group, and as you see, I'll be taken straight through this page here. It'll show you that I added everybody. I can still add people in and stuff if I want to. Go into the group information, add them in. I can send imagery. I can send messages in there, and it works quite like WhatsApp. The guys can reply to me, and it's all in like a group chain, so everybody can see it. It's really good to encourage good quality conversations between all your members and get them engaged with what's actually going on at the club. So that's kind of key for communicating with your members and whatnot. They can send you messages, you can send them messages, you can create group messages all through there. Appreciate that, you know, kind of normal conversations might still go on through WhatsApp, but anything club related should or could be done through Pitchero. So you might as well kind of try and utilize these tools. The guys will see how easy that they are and how good they are to use. The final thing I'm going to touch on, guys, so start getting your questions in about all the other things. I can see that there is quite a few that have come through already, so I'm going to touch on them very shortly. That's the key things for your responsibilities that you guys can do at the moment. Some nice little things in there. You know, there might be a little bit more that you guys want to do, and a little bit more functionality that you can kind of take advantage of. But they're the key things. Speak to your webmasters and stuff at your clubs about getting more responsibility and more access should you need it. But the fourth and final thing that I want to touch on is the ability that we are giving you guys to be able to collect for match fees. Now, this is massive step forward for us here at Pitchero. We've had clubs kind of getting at us for a while. You know, we collect match fees, and there's no like great way to do it through the system. And they were right, unfortunately. We have a fantastic membership and payments feature that allows you to collect for things like membership, merchandise, tickets, etc. Fantastic working system for that. But it wasn't a really particularly great thing for collecting in match fees. So our developers have been hard at work. I have a few little demos that I can show you here. Now, bear in mind that these are test things and they're not fully functioning. They are just kind of little demos here. But when you click into a fixture, basically I kind of run you through kind of how these match fees things will work. But essentially, it's a product. It's still in development. We do have some slides here I'll show you, but the match fee system will essentially allow for you guys as team admins to charge the playing members of your team sort of a preset match fee for participating in a particular game. So I've just shown you how to set all these fixtures up. You know how to manage them when you pitch side. You know how to look at their information and whatnot. But at the end of the game, you want to charge them for their match fees, and you're sick of carrying around that cash. Makes sense, you know. I can see why you would want to do that. So what will happen here really is you guys as a club will create some preset match fees. So you'll have a X, Y, and Z for each team, the differing amounts. For example, a full match for a senior is £10, half match £5. A student of that team can only pay £7, etc. You know, there's different variants of that, and that's absolutely fine. The system will accommodate for that. Basically, what you'll be presented with, this is a example in the manager app. And it will show you here, this is the fixture. You can normally click into match information, availability, team selection, etc., as I showed you earlier. This button here doesn't exist at the moment, but it will do very soon. Should be ready for the start of the cricket season, and that's match fees. So I'm going to click onto that. Now, this is kind of what you'll be shown here when you first click on it if you haven't prompted anybody for those match fees. There's nobody in that selection. Now, you'll be given two options. You can choose from the list of players that are in your team, or you can choose from the team selection that you made. You know, so you make your team selection ahead of time. That all goes to plan. Everybody that was supposed to play plays. I'm going to click the use team selection button, and it'll populate that with the preset amount of £10 for each member. Now, this is a list here of all the different players that played in that game. I can click into specific people and change what they should be paying, whether they should be paying a sub fee or an unused sub fee and they didn't play, so they don't pay as much or whatever. And then I can send those prompts out, and I'll be taken to a page that tells me that they've sent a payment request. They will then get a request sent to their club app from you as a manager saying, please pay for your match fee, and they can click in and pay that through their app really easily, especially if they're on iOS and they've got Apple Pay enabled. You can do that in a couple of seconds, and it's really nice and simple. You'll then be taken back to this page, which will show you who has and who hasn't paid. So not everybody will have paid. I would be very, very surprised if people were paying that quickly. They can do it pretty quickly with the apps, though. But here you'll see that these people haven't paid, for example. So if I click into Jamie here, he should be paying £10. I get a couple of options now. I can change that if I've sent him the wrong one. I can delete that if for whatever reason he shouldn't be paying. I can add a note to it. I can say that he's paid by cash, which will change him to paid, and then I just have the cash to hand in at the club. Or I can click that request button again, and it'll show me that it's sent another request to Jamie to ask him to pay for that. So that's the way in which the prompts work. You know, really nice and easy to set up and use. You can also view this. I think this is the right slide. Yeah, you can also view this within this section, which is what it will look like within the club control panel. Clicking the use team selection stuff again, clicking into particular people and changing what they should and shouldn't pay. All of that stuff is there available as well. And this is what it'll look like to your members. So this is for somebody who's missed a week's payment, so they can pay all in one go if they want to, the full £20, or they can click into a particular one and just pay one of them. And they can also send a message. So say, for example, I'm thinking, oh, you've sent me the wrong one there, and use this button here to send a message to Jamie to say, I think you've sent me the wrong one. So appreciate that that is kind of a little bit vague still at the moment, but hopefully that's giving you a good insight into what that's going to look like and feel like and how it's going to work. The idea that you guys can manage that, send out the prompts to your players from your manager app, they can act upon them within their club app, and you can just watch the payments roll in for that particular game and prompt people as and when necessary. You can prompt them as many times as you want, and they obviously, as I've just shown you, they will be able to pay in bulk if they want to for those things. So hopefully that all sounds good. Basically, what I'm trying to outline to you there is that all of the tools that you guys need to be successful on the system are already available to you, really. It's just up to you guys to get out there and get using them and sort of get the ball rolling for a successful season on and off the pitch. You know, kind of you guys want to be successful and you want to spend more time doing the things that you love, coaching the kids, coaching the team, coaching the players, mentoring them, etc. You don't want to spend too much time on the admin side of things. So Pitchero is here to help and make that easier for you. Doing this and using these things will kind of really make life easier for you, but it also generate more of like a positive experience for both yourself and your members. And you know, everything will run a bit smoother. It's not too difficult to use, and you know, kind of it'll allow you, as I've said before, to focus on enjoying what you do at the club. So final 2 points from me, guys, to get your questions in now. Really strongly recommend that, as from what I've shown, as you can kind of imagine, downloading the Pitchero apps, the manager app and the club app, is really highly recommended. They can be extremely beneficial for you guys and for your members, you know, making that you have the power of managing, communicating with your team kind of in your pocket at all times, viewing that information and sending out messages as and when needed. So, you know, kind of download them and just kind of have a play around with all the features that are available to you, really. As a team admin, you've got quite a few things you can do on the system, and we really firmly believe that kind of using those tools that are available to you can only be beneficial for you kind of as a member of the club and for the other members of the club. You should save a lot of time using these tools, and it, like as I've mentioned a couple of times, it means you can focus your time on helping your players grow and improve, really, rather than doing too much admin. So that is it from me, guys. Appreciate that. Is a hell of a lot of information. I'm probably going to have a sore throat after this, running through all of that stuff. So feel free to start firing in your questions now. There's quite a few of you guys on the webinar this evening, so I presume that there'll probably be quite a few questions. I can see there's quite a lot in there now, so allow me to run through all of these. Okay, so the first one I can see is from Chris. I've noticed that when I am checking our members' database, I am unable to update their details, but can the profile? Why is that? I'm not too sure what you mean, but can the profile? Do you mean but you can view the profile? If you're saying why is that, you should be able to go into each of your members within the membership database, as I'm kind of showing you again now, and you should be able to edit that information. If you're struggling with doing that, Chris, give us a shout in the support team and we can give you a helping hand. But it should be as simple as kind of clicking into the people and then just editing and changing the information that's there, etc. Okay, next question from Chris again. When players move up, say from under 17 to under 18, what is the best way? Good question, Chris. Apologies, I probably should have mentioned this because it's something that you guys will be doing probably quite a lot of at the moment, especially at cricket clubs. You can change people's roles by bulk. So as you'll see, I'm in the membership database now, and it's only showing me the under 17s team. This may be something that you might need a hand from your webmasters from and stuff, because they've got access to the other teams. But the key way to do it is to select a few different people. I'll not select myself, I'll select some of these guys. Now, these are all listed as players of that team. It does look like you can't do it, so apologies, Chris, as I'm saying that. Basically, what you will need to do is ask your webmasters to go in. There's normally a button here next to merge that says edit roles, and they can edit their roles, and by bulk they can add the player role to the next available age group, etc. So what they'd be doing is grabbing a load of players and moving them all up at once, essentially, and then moving players from the next one down to up to that team, etc., etc. Another question from Chris. When will the Android version be able to upload video? So this is something that we're working on at the minute. So as I was saying, kind of adding content, images, videos, match reports, etc. It's all stuff that's being worked on at the moment, Chris. So that sort of stuff should be available pretty soon. I don't have a time scale, unfortunately, but I do know that it's in the pipeline and it is being worked on. The ability to do all of the actions in terms of adding information to the site, all from the phone. So that should be pretty soon, Chris, on that one. Question from Giles. Can you purge information held about members who have left, or is there a data retention policy that can be applied globally? That's kind of up to you guys to manage on a club basis, Giles. We are coherent sort of with the GDPR regulations and stuff, and our Pitchero database is all kind of safe within that sense. But it's up to you guys to kind of adhere to different things in that respect as well. You can remove people from the database, or you can request for them to remove themselves. That can all be done. As a team admin, you can only remove them from your team, but your webmasters should be able to remove them from the database, no problem. Equally, the guys here at Pitchero, we can fully remove them from our Pitchero database should we need to. So, you know, if a person really wants to get rid and wants to get out of the club and all their information to be deleted, tell them to give us a shout and we can do that for you, not a problem. Question from Yogesh here. Our player can be selected in more than one team, can be in first, second, or third. How do we manage that Is it by allocating this player a role in each team? A couple of different ways you can do that, Yogesh, but yeah, that's probably the best one. You could make them available for all of the different teams. Now, if I go back into the app view here, let me show you this. Basically, you can see when someone's been selected in another team. So if I go back into the manager app here, back into the match center and into the fixtures, if I look at the team selection, when I scroll down to select, sorry, not the team selection, the availability, it doesn't look like anybody's been selected for another team there, unfortunately. But when somebody's been selected for another team, they have a section next to their name that says selected for X team, so that you know that they can't be selected for your team because they're already playing in another one. So add them all of the teams, and then whichever one they get selected for first, the other team admins will be able to see that they've already been selected. Question from John: what is the difference between a team and a group? So the groups are kind of built more so for managing the members in the membership database. So you can add people into a specific membership group, and then you can use that to message them. You can use that to kind of, keep them separate. So you might have a group for all your parents that you can quickly send them emails and messages and stuff. The team is obviously just the players out on the pitch, the guys that are involved in the team. That's the main difference, really. You need to be added into a team to show in the correct section of the website. Groups can include people from multiple different teams, etc. Question from Chris here: to be clear, content is only available to be added via browser, not the Android and iOS app. Yeah, Chris, that's kind of as I've just mentioned before. Apologies, I know I'm getting through these after they've all been typed out. But yeah, it's only being able to be added within the browser at the moment. It is coming though in the app, so that should be a really nice positive thing. Another question from Chris again. Via the spreadsheet, is it going to be possible to add more fields that all information is uploaded in one go? We've noticed that there are more fields than are available in the CSV, which means we are double handling data. Yeah, you can. So this question for everybody else is basically around importing your members and how to import information they've already provided for you. So say you've got a different membership database elsewhere, just in Excel or whatever. Key things on this one, Chris: export your current membership database with all of the fields that are there. Make sure that they all match up. If you need to add them in, check out our help center for adding in membership fields, or ask your webmaster, if you're not already the webmaster, how that's done. Add in membership fields, and then they can match up all the information and import it all at one go, populating the information upon import. So yeah, that is all possible. If you need any help on that, support@pitchero.com. The guys will be happy to help out. Another one from Chris. Lots of questions through from Chris today, so hopefully we'll get some good answers for you, Chris. Are locations uploadable via CSV for other rugby clubs, etc.? They're not, no. So the key thing, that's why kind of the match instructions, etc., is really important. Your members see that when they're looking at them. So really, you would just add in the locations particular to your team. The other ones for other clubs aren't available to be uploaded. However, really good idea. So I will feed that back to our developers. I think that is something that is quite a good idea. So yeah, I'll pass that on, Chris. But at the moment, unfortunately, no, that is not the case. Another question again here: with data protection and GDPR, if you publish a team, is that only available to registered members of the particular team? You get to choose that. When you publish the team, when you click the button that says who can see this, is it just the people who are selected? Is it just members of the club, or is it everybody, or is it no one? So up to you what you choose when you're doing that, Chris. You can choose who can see that. Question from Giles: if you have multiple games at the same time, does selection validate against people to ensure they can't be selected twice? Yeah, I think, again, Giles, it might be something I've already mentioned there, so apologies, I've only just got around to your question. It tells you that they've been selected for another team, so you know not to select them. But you can be selected for two teams within the same day, because technically you could play for the senior team in the morning and then the second or third team in the evening or the afternoon. But it will let you know that they've been selected for another team. So it kind of gives you that prompt to say you probably shouldn't select this person if they've already been selected, etc. Question here from Ashok: team selection, will all players see selection for all matches, or only the players selected that can see selections? Again, Ashok, I've just answered that one, so hopefully you heard the answer to that one. You can choose. You choose who sees that, whether it's nobody, whether it's so whether it's just you, whether it's all of the people who are selected, or whether it's everybody at the club, or whether it's everybody altogether, etc. So you get to choose that when you're publishing the selection, Ashok. Chris, do you have any plans to enable the training to be done at the same time as fixtures, but with the field for training instead of match, etc.? Save time. As far as my understanding goes at the minute, Chris, no, because they're treated as two different things within our database. But it's not to say that can't change in the future. I do know that there is plans for when the match fees things rolled out to be able to kind of charge for training fees as well in exactly the same way. So maybe at the moment that's not something that can be done. It is set up in a different section because it displays as a different thing within the player schedule. But again, pass that back to the developers, not a problem at all on that one. Chris again, isn't it possible for the members, roles, teams, etc. to auto-populate the messaging groups? Yeah, so you can, like as I kind of showed you, you can send a message to your team through the manager app and stuff, and that kind of can be done. But really, kind of, you have the ability to message kind of anybody, but you know, you would be selecting the people from your team, and you can filter down when you're creating the messages as to what team and stuff they're in. That's why the groups, the messaging groups and the member groups are pretty useful, because you can create a particular group and then use that as a group message as well. Question from Mick here. There's still quite a few more questions to go through here, guys, so I'll get through them as quickly as I can. Question from Mick. Can we set up more than one game on the same day and place? I believe we had an issue last year. Yeah, you should be able to, Mick. There shouldn't be any issue with doing that. If you want to give that a go, you know, and if you do come across any issues, give us a shout and we will look into it for you. But as far as my understanding goes on that one, Mick, shouldn't be a problem. Again from Mick, note we've already answered that one. Question from Ed here. What information can go to social media, for example, full-time result, team selection, and what if you update fixtures retrospectively? Does that all get posted? You get the choice. So when you're posting, say for example, as a football club in particular, somebody scores a goal and you can live score that within the app. You can post that to social media. You can post various different things to social media, news reports and things like that. But you get to choose whether they do or they don't get posted when you're doing them, Ed. So really up to you when you're going through that. You tick or untick the box to automatically post that to social media. Another question from Mick here. Is there anything we need to be aware of when booking multiple games on the same day? It's just managing that with yourselves at the club, Mick. You know, kind of making sure that the correct players are in the correct teams for the correct games, the correct team selections and stuff are made, and the correct communication goes out. That you shouldn't really have any issues with that, but give it a go and let us know with the support team if you do have any problems. Chris here, are payments tied to particular providers, e.g. PayPal, Pay by Mo? Yeah, so we have two payment providers. We have Stripe and we have Go Cardless. If you head to our help center and search for payment providers, you'll get a little bit more information on those. One of them operates with direct debit. One of them operates with credit and debit card payments. The match fees will be run through credit and debit card payments only because they're quick one-time payments that are made kind of as and when needed, rather than sort of recurring payments like direct debits are typically used for. But yeah, Stripe and Go Cardless, Chris, so check those guys out. Question from Alex. How do the match fees show as transactions when they hit our bank account? Individual, what reference? I don't have the information on that yet, unfortunately, Alex, but there will be reporting tools that are built within the system. You'll be able to look into those reporting tools and see how that displays. There will be proper information coming out about this. I'm just kind of giving you guys a little heads up ahead of time that it's coming. Unfortunately, I only have limited information at the moment. So watch the space on that one, Alex. We'll get the answer to that for you. Alex, again, is the amount owing per player for match fees a reportable / downloadable item? It should be. When it's there, it should be able to be downloaded, Alex. But again, that's more information than I have at the moment. The guys are working hard on this and kind of all that stuff. It's available for the current membership payments and stuff, so hopefully it will be for that as well, yeah. What payment gateway was used for the payments? So you guys, as you put there, you guys have the non-direct debit setups. That's Stripe. So it will be Stripe that's used for match fees, as I've already kind of alluded to there. Apologies, I've only just got to the question. But yeah, Stripe. So that's credit and debit card payments, Alex. Question from Ed. How do you move players from one age group to the next age group at the beginning of the new season? That was something I just covered before, Ed. Like I said, I've only just got to the question though. But you basically you'll need to have your membership secretary or webmaster or whoever it may be to do that. What they can do is they can select people by bulk and then they can edit their role, giving them the role of the next available age group or whatever it is that they need to do. Question from Alex. I can see you recording this. Is that so it's available to managers who've not been able to join? Precisely, Alex, yeah. All of you guys who've attended tonight will be sent a recording of this webinar roughly an hour or two after we've finished. Feel free to dish that out amongst the guys at the club who will be interested in finding out more. If you need a recording of it and you haven't been sent it straight away, give us a shout and we'll send it out to you, no problem at all. Last few questions here, guys. I think it looks like we've got about 6 left. Question from Brendan. Will the match fee edition also be available for training sessions where a fee is due? Yeah, so I kind of alluded to that very briefly just a second ago. Apologies again, I've only just got to the question, but yes, there is plans for that. Initially, when it's first rolled out, it won't be, but it will be in future. We're going to release it as kind of a base thing and then build upon it each time. So yeah, hopefully you will be able to do that and kind of charge people for training as well. It'll work in the same sort of way, so there's no reason why we can't do that. Question from Mick. Can we profile parents who can be umpires, score, bring snacks, etc.? Yeah, bringing snacks sounds great. Yes, you can. Yeah, it's just kind of adding in a different field to kind of, are you willing to help out and in what capacity? So when you're webmasters, if it's yourself or whether it's someone else, ask them to add in a field kind of, are you willing to help out and in what capacity? You can have drop downs, whether you're willing to umpire or score or bring snacks or give people lifts or, you know, help out on the bar or whatever. You can collect more information on members and you can have that visible to see. So yeah, you can, Nick. Question from Peter. Hi, GDPR is important now. Is it only the team admins who can see the personal information of players? Yes, it is. So your webmasters are able to see kind of everything, but they can manage who can and who can't see what information. So team admins can only see the information on their particular players in their particular team. That can be managed by your webmasters in the manage access section. So ask the guys to take a look into that and kind of manage that for you. But anyone who's a team admin can only see the information on their team, yeah. Question from Justin. Is there a way that I can share these training videos with other team admins? Yes, there is, Jordan. Justin, sorry. Yes, we can. You'll get sent out a recording. Thank you for attending this webinar, like I say, but you will get sent out a recording so you can listen to my voice as many times as you like, and you can send that out to the other guys at the club who can view that as well. Question from Philippa. Have you got any further with a check-in and check-out of Colton training night, for instance? Check-in, check-out, it's something that I've mentioned to the developers myself personally. I've had a couple of guys mention that to me. Really useful thing that would be really good to do. They are aware of it. They understand why it would be useful. So it's something that they will look into. I don't have any timescales or any plans or anything as such, but hopefully we can push forward with that one, Philippa. Chris, again here, letting me know a little bit further about one of his previous questions, saying, sorry, I meant in regards to fixtures, RE additional fields, the default format shows teams home and away, but location, start time, meet time, etc., as per match information fields. Sorry, Chris, apologies, I've went through that many questions now. I'm not entirely sure what that one was regarding to. If you pop this as a question to our support team, they'll get back to you first thing tomorrow, letting you know the answer to your questions. You can pop in quite a bit of information on the fixtures, but they'll be able to give you the proper lowdown on that sort of stuff. Apologies about that, Chris. Question from Brendan here. Are you aware of issues when synchronizing the events in Pitchero with iOS calendar on your phone? The times appear to be misaligned. I'm not personally, Brendan. I don't work in our support team though, so the guys in the support team might be. Drop them a message, let them know, say that you're seeing some issues, because if you're seeing the times that are misaligned, then that needs to be fixed. So drop a message across to support@pitchero.com and the guys will help you out with that, Brendan. Okay, so we're on to the last 4 questions here, guys. Question from Philippa. Can you add scores on Pitchero or do they need to rely on Play Cricket? Is there any sync? You can put your scorecards in, yeah, and you can manage them separately. However, if you upload them to Play Cricket, they will then be pulled through from our integration with Play Cricket. So you don't need to duplicate that work, but you can put them in through Pitchero if you like to. Up to you how you want to manage that one, Philippa. Question from John. Can you select the player, for example, in the second 11 when the player is shown as a third 11 player? You can. It's best to have them kind of listed against all of the different teams that they could play in though. But it's really easy to chop and change people's roles, so you can kind of pass them backwards and forwards from different teams if needs be, or have them assigned to all 3 teams and then get them selected in each team. Like I said before, it'll show you if they've been selected for another team, and then you'll know whether you should or shouldn't select them, really. Message from Chris. Sorry for all the questions messaging. I've just checked via Android Club app. Doesn't appear to have a filter for existing groups. Again, on that one, Chris, if you pop that in the message that you'll send across to the support team, we'll get to the bottom of that one for you. I do apologize. The reason why I showed you the stuff on the iOS version of the app is because that's the one that I'm most used to. The Android app is ever so slightly different, so there may be ever so slightly differing things within there. Drop the guys in the support team a message. They're experts on all of the different apps, so they should be able to help out on that one, Chris. But not a problem on all the questions. That's what we're here for. Final question here by lots of things from Mick. It's the same question that was there before. Can we profile parents and whether they want to umpire, score, etc.? Yeah, just ask them. Just kind of, you can send out messages to ask them whether they want to do that, or you can use the membership fields to collect the information, kind of depicting what it is they're willing to do at the club and help out in that way. That looks like all the questions there, guys. Hopefully you found that really useful. I have tried to run through everything that I can. Appreciate, obviously, apologies if there's anything missing out with me doing this on my own. You know, it's quite a lot to get across to you guys. But appreciate from your end as well, it's quite a lot to take in at once. So the recordings should be sent out very soon. And when you get them, feel free to watch them back and forwards until you're sick of the sound of my voice. But as long as you understand everything, that's the key thing. Any questions at all, get in touch with your account manager or get in touch with the support team, support@pitchero.com. You can contact us on 0113 292 6070. We're always happy to help. So, you know, we will make sure that everything is kind of running smoothly as it possibly can do for you guys. Final question. It's not really a question, just coming through from Justin there. Many thanks. You've cleared all the muddy waters. Glad to hear that, Justin. I hope that the same goes for everybody else. Hope that you've found it all useful. There will be more webinars and stuff coming relating these things, but if you need the recording, it should come out to you to distribute amongst the guys at your club. Okay, so that's it from me, guys. Hopefully you found that useful, and hopefully you can have a successful season this year. Pitchero are always here and happy to chat and help out, so use us as much or as little as you like. You know, that's exactly what we're here for, to make sure you've got everything you need. So I'll speak to you all again soon, I'm sure, guys, on one of the later webinars, but that's it from me. Take care.